Season 53, War number 2, and we are up against Sålty. This time my team will be Omega Sentinel, Werewolf by night, and Shathra. So I am finally able to use the Bug Lady in Alliance War. In Section 1 I will be taking Path 5, Path 1 in Section 2, then a Bishop, Serpent, as well as a Domino miniboss, and that will be it for this war. As I said previously, this season will most likely be one that I don't really get too many fights every single war, mainly due to the fact that most of my tactic champions are banned most of the time, from the looks of it anyways. So at the very least I get to use some more fun champions. Starting off here though, we have an Adam Warlock on the Overflow knockdown and right back added nodes, and I will be taking the fight with Shathra. Essentially what you want to do with Shathra in most matchups is to just get to a special one, throw it to get some eggs on the opponent, and I guess wasps as well, and then charge up your heavy attack to power steal, get to a special 2, then cancel your heavy into a special 2, and that should nuke the fight down relatively well. So here I do exactly that, and a single special 2 with 0 crits was enough to close out the fight entirely. And yeah, that went a lot better than I first expected. I knew she would be quick for the fight, but a single special 2 wasn't what I was expecting. Now, next up we have an Onslaught on the Overflow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Werewolf by night. Technically this fight is doable with most champions, but the main reason I brought Werewolf here is due to his ability to gain openings simply by, well, not hitting the opponent directly, utilizing your howl to gain specials and or go unblockable, and then getting your openings that way. He also has the ruptures through the block so that you can always deal damage without needing to hit the opponent directly, so no matter what you are, slowly but surely, getting the fight down. Now, in this fight, essentially your only ways to get openings are intercepting and punishing this guy's special 1, but with a double medium champion, the special 1 punish is not doable, so it's only gonna be intercepting and then utilizing the howl as well as the power game, or the unblockable I should say. So a couple special 2s and this fight is almost over. However, I couldn't get the curse ready to go for the second special 2, so the damage wasn't quite there. But we are slowly but surely getting it down. This fight will also be the final fight for Werewolf by night, so all in all, being a little bit slow here or taking damage is not an issue, so I am being a little bit reckless with these intercepts, but I'm fairly comfortable using the champion in general and especially against Onslaught, so I am feeling confident enough that I can do that without messing it up, at least too badly. Fight goes down. It was slightly on the slower side, and I could have taken the fight with Shathra, but since this is the first time I'm using her in war, I wasn't feeling too confident with her yet. And then, next up we have a thing on the Never Back Down node, and I will be taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. I went ahead and put the recall masteries on, since the next few fights are with Omega Sentinel, and they don't really hurt her in any meaningful way, it is just a decent damage increase. Plan here is to just get the heal block up and then keep it up so that the Never Back Down regen will not be a problem. Then get the special 3, use that for the incinerates, and that's about it. Now, all in all, this fight is just a normal thing, so all you gotta really do is just manage the rock stacks properly, and that's about it. The heal box here are very useful, but also not really necessary. The regen isn't too bad, and basically any normal thing counter can do the fight just fine. Now here I did make a mistake managing the rock stacks, so to correct it I'm hitting some parries and single light taps to manage the rock stacks better, pushing to 14 charges or stacks, then the special 3 will be the 15th hit. Now the special 3 also will get the incinerates for the damage, but when I come out of this I do have to bait a special to make him consume those rock stacks. Special 3 does count as a single hit, no matter how many actual hits it does for your combo meter, so that is something to also keep an eye on or keep in mind whenever taking things. So at this point the fight is already over. I'm just doing my best to keep the debuffs paused with a couple heavy attacks, and down he goes. Not the cleanest thing fight, and I did mess up the rock stack management a little bit, but all in all, the fight didn't really go too badly. And then we have a shocker on the buffet over time and arc overload node, and I will be taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. Now, this fight I'm not a big fan of taking, or well, I'm not a big fan of taking shocker in general, but Omega Sentinel deals with it just fine, I would say. The armor up she gets makes her very tanky, though at the start of the fight you really can't even afford blocking hits, so a quick ramp up for the armor ups and then you're good to go. She's nullify immune, so the buffet node will not be a problem, and the heal box will be able to deal with any of the arc overload regen. Now there I made a mistake. I tried to use a parry for an opening against the shocker. He recovered too quickly from the stun and parried me instead, but luckily he did not proc a stun debuff on those basic attacks. Otherwise, there is very real potential for him just stun locking you to death, and it has happened to me before, so yeah, that could have ended badly. Luckily it didn't, and I got the special 3 off for damage, and as you can see, damage is noticeable. I just gotta keep them up here, so I go for a light ending combo here, and the incinerates will deal with the rest. If I took about a minute, I did take some damage unnecessarily, but even without getting comboed there, I had taken enough chip damage simply from the start of the fight, as well as blocking the special 2, that I would have had to use potion anyway. So all in all, I didn't really lose anything by getting hit, except, well, had I gotten unlucky I would be dead right now. And then we have a bishop on the power snack and 1 too many hits miniboss node, and I am taking this fight with Omega Sentinel as well. Now, just to make sure, since this fight is a scarier one, I backed out of the fight to make sure the heal block pre-fight actually sticks, so I don't have to worry about using any heavy attacks in the middle of the fight to switch modes. And then, as I already saw, the debuff is on, or the pre-fight is on, so I am good to go. That is always something you should do if you're using pre-fights that are important, especially if the fight is difficult, and if you don't, there's very real potential that the pre-fight doesn't stick and you will suffer if that happens. Now this node here is the power snack miniboss node along with 1 too many hits, and as with the buffet node, Omega Sentinel is immune to nullify, so the power snack node is not an issue. All that's really left is the defense tactic, which she shuts down with the heal block pre-fight, and then it's just Bishop's kit all in all. The power stings are also annoying, but not the end of the world. However, while this fight isn't usually a problem, the AI on this guy was something else. He just keeps spamming the special ones, and Omega Sentinel doesn't really deal with the incinerates in any meaningful way, so I'm just getting chipped down by the incinerates and the block damage from blocking the special ones there, and all in all it's been a horrible start to this fight, and at this point I was pretty sure I would die, but well, thanks once again to that one commenter last season, I am able to use my special 3 with the plasmas for damage, so that's exactly what I do here. Finish combo on a light to pause the the plasmas as well as the heal block, pushing the special 2 and just letting those do some work. However, the plasmas themselves don't really hit too hard in this matchup due to Bishop's energy resistance, but it is still very useful to have that damage increase, and I was able to finish out the fight without dying, though it wasn't pretty, and I am gonna have to use some potions to recover from this, since unfortunately not the final Omega Sentinel fight. Now next up we have a fight that I had taken in the off-season to practice it a little bit and see how it would go. A Serpent on the Mega Stand and when I open miniboss node, and I will be taking the fight with Shathra. Now Shathra is one of the stronger options for Serpent, but I wouldn't consider her the best one. Sim Supreme still can take Serpent on basically every single node in Alliance War, so generally he would work better, but the usual Sim Supreme player was needed elsewhere this war, so I got to use my Shathra and try it out. Now, as usual, the plan is to use that special one first to get some wasps as well as eggs on the opponent, then charge your heavy power steel and chain it into a special 2. The damage there wasn't as good as it could be due to not getting as many wasps on as I could have gotten, but the damage is still good and I am getting the fight down here slowly but surely. Generally speaking, against Serpent you really just wanna bait the special ones over and over, and that's about it. And well, that's exactly what I'm doing here. The atrophy from Shathra Special 1 is very strong against Serpent to shut down those power gain buffs faster, so that the power gain doesn't get out of hand. And then also the death immunity that he gets, it's a buff, so it is subject to atrophy as well, so that phase shouldn't last too long either. The issue is just getting there, and due to the constant special spamming here with power efficiency as well as the Mega Stand protection, it's taking some time, but all in all, Shathra is handling this fight well enough. So here, one more heavy charge into a special 2, it triggers death immunity, and it's gone, and the fight is over. It did take quite a bit longer than the one that I took in off-season, but overall the fight was still fairly simple to take, and Shathra was on top of all the abilities throughout the fight. Simply being able to shut down most of the power gain is plenty to help you out in taking that specific matchup, and Shathra does that very well with the easy access to an atrophy that essentially lasts the whole fight once you get it on. The chip damage is unfortunate, but that's almost unavoidable against Serpent, basically no matter who you use. Then we have the final fight of the war, a Domino on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Poison miniboss node along with stun immunity, and I am taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. Once again, a quick mastery swap that I cut out to put the recoil masteries back on, and the plan is to just use the heal box, shut down the tactic, avoid hitting the opponent as much as possible during the Incinerate phase, and then get as much damage in during the Poison phase as I physically can, get the special 3, and then... well, when I get the special 3 the fight is essentially over, so long as nothing horrible happens. The damage will be there, but I still gotta make sure I don't get comboed or eat any specials or any of that. So this fight isn't exactly ideal, but I don't really think there is an ideal option, especially with the current bans we are getting. So Omega Sentinel will do, and I'm sure I will have to take a matchup or 2 in these Hazard Shift nodes throughout the season. So here I go to the special 3, gonna drop it for the plasma debuffs, and then just gotta keep them on until the fight is over. Now I gotta say, I'm not really a fan of using Omega Sentinel in War these days, and the main reason for that is she is expensive as hell to use. Excuse my language, but she really is. You essentially wanna be running recoil on every single fight you take with her, and then she's just a bit too squishy, so every single mistake or blocked hit you take, you will have to heal from it, and the potions as well as the mastery swaps, they stack up. I don't like doing it, but this season I don't really have a choice. Now as for the results, we did end up losing the war 3-6. We just had way too many stupid path deaths for no real reason at all, which just somehow tends to happen against these stronger alliances that would be very important for us to beat, but not this time.